been over a month since I've made this post, and I did it because I was seeing a lot of people who stick around the channel actually quitting the game, and that kind of made me worried. You know, there's because of the state of the game, and when I mean the state of the game is more towards the veterans and also the who knows any player that's above MR 20 or something, and I think uh, this part of a Asmongold video actually talks a lot about the current state of Warframe.
It's just that being mid is sometimes worse than being bad. Because at least being bad, people are emotionally attached to something that's bad because it could have been good. Something that's mid is just like, eh, eh.
I really think that a Warframe for veterans and after a certain mastery becomes just like that. Becomes a game that's just mid. And the thing that I think it's the worst issue with Warframe that, and I've said this before on a couple of videos and talking about, is that the worst problem in Warframe is incentive. That's due to the fact that you have a game. Yeah, it's a looter shooter. It's a looter shooter that has a complexity equal or over of an MMO. It is a game that has so many mechanics, so many different game modes, and little stuff to do. But at the same time, after you reach a certain point, you just don't have something that really pushes you into keep playing. Kind of no end game. If you don't define your end game, oh, I'm gonna kill, hunt trilons for fun. I'm gonna do level caps for fun. I'm gonna farm decorations and make a crazy stuff out of my dojo, out of my ship, out of my Dermy zone. I'm gonna farm all the mods, do some completionist stuff. I'm gonna, make or start making meme builds and stuff. If you don't define your end game, you're likely gonna either quit Warframe or play it as casually as possible, only coming back for major updates and stuff. And I actually think that's kind of one of the healthiest things to do. And really, the incentive part would be just a start of the many things that would really make Warframe more replayable. And you might even say like, oh, Riven is gonna be an endgame, and getting all of the gear, the Archon shards, everything that is higher level. The now we have the Incarnum weapons, the newest new Incarnum weapons, and other stuff to farm. But at the end of the day, you're gonna get stronger weapons. You're gonna get stronger stuff for your Warframe. It's gonna allow you to enhance your builds for what? To do the same missions again? They're gonna reward you the same stuff you already have, or to try and get a better RNG when we're talking about Rivens. And even the Kuva you can get now is capped, so there's even less incentive to stick for longer on endurance missions to farm steel essence and stuff. When I mean incentive, as just a starting point, if you added like a 0.00 something percent drop on each mission to then build something unique, even that if it is only for show off, if you're making like ephemera that needs a drop, it has a absolutely ridiculous drop chance, but it becomes like a prestige item in the game, that everyone wants because it's unique. It's extremely, stupidly hard to drop. People are gonna start playing for that. That's what I mean. You need to incentivize people to keep playing the game. You need to give a reason for them to keep playing, like new goals. That's just one of the, and actually define what they kind of want an end game to be, because you gotta have something. And I'm coming from other games that you see your character getting stronger. In Warframe, you do see your character getting stronger, but there's usually a reason for your stuff to be stronger. Uh, Warframe doesn't translate to PvP. All of your progress doesn't translate to PvP, which uh, it's that would be really close to maybe close to impossible to get it right, because there are so many variables and stuff and procs and so much crazy stuff that would be kind of crazy. But if you think about a game, it's other genres, but still the thing that I'm focusing on is the progression, not the game type or game modes and stuff. Look at MMOs. Look at World of Warcraft. You'll level up, you'll gear up, you'll do raids, you do harder raids, but every time you do it, you get better gear to play against. If it is raids, to kill the boss easier, to gear up, to be stronger, to be able to do more farms, to be able to achieve higher mythic stones. So there's a different amount of stuff you can do, you know. If you're going PvP, you're getting honored and conquest to better your gear, because then you can join not only battlegrounds but arenas or even rated battlegrounds and stuff to kill people easier, you know. As for even survival games, you have the feeling of progression when you get the experience to do things faster. You get the items to do things faster. You know, in Ark you get stronger dinos stuff. If it is a game like 7 Days to Die, you get better tools to get more resources and craft the stuff that you need to get your base together, and you know, craft weapons. Even, you know, just there's so many different systems in the game, yet the game feels like it fails to achieve or to deliver to the player the simplest things there should be, you know. Having a end game goals or stuff like that. That's what I feel, you know. You might completely disagree, and that is fine. I just think that's really what I think, that the game doesn't deliver that. The latest farms added to the game, in my opinion, are one of the worst farms I've ever seen in the game. And I mean, terrible. I just hated them so much. It's unbelievable. There was never a thing in Warframe I was like, I really don't want to do this. I really, really don't want to do this. I really don't like doing this. Which are the Varuna farm and the Citrine farm. I just hated those so much. It's not even, I cannot even express how I hated them. Especially the Citrine one. The Citrine one was the worst farm I think they ever added to this game. I prefer to farm so much stuff and not have to do that. But unfortunately, even that piece of crap farm has a good arcane, which is the steadfast, and I'm still doing that shit just to get that, because you know, I could buy it, but then what the f am I gonna do in the game if I just buy everything, you know? And you know, it just kind of forces you into playing, and that's not really good. The drop chances of the Warframe parts and the arcanes are so trash that you have to rely on the crystals, the 2 crystals, and the crystal drops are not affected by anything pretty much, and it sucks. It's the worst farm for me. You know, another thing is that could be on a completely separate video, is to talk about the latest released Warframes and where to even fit them. Warframe is a game that is it's the game is meant to be cheesed there in a way that you have a Warframe that does something so well that you don't even consider using other Warframes to do something. You know, if you're gonna exterminate, probably the first thing that is gonna come to your mind is Saren, because Saren is just so effective at doing exterminations and killing stuff that it's hard to think on anything else. If it's a lower level, and you can even use something like Gyre, you could even use Ember or stuff, but or even Equinox, but yeah, that is hard, you know. And we got even can even think about the latest helmets too, like Varuna and Citrine's helmets. You're choosing the way you're getting energy in a way. It's it's kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, it's just we have so many frames, and still so many of them are underused because what the f are you gonna do with those frames? They have cool abilities, they can do cool stuff, but there is nothing in the game that requires them. There is nothing in the game that really makes them shine. You know, Citrine is a really good character, but where the f are you gonna use Citrine? You know, Kullerva's a great frame, but now with the overguard gating that we have, it might be a bit better, but still, mm, I'm using him for general content, general missions that I need to run, or to open our Rivens and do some, you know, nothing special. But even him is hard to fit somewhere. Maybe if you use him for a defense mission with a Nova and who knows, someone to spread some viral, even Saren, but that Saren could just overtook the entire stuff at some point. Who knows? Varun is another one who has a shitty invisibility, who it might be fixed with an augment in the future, but yeah, and that's when I mean that we need more game modes. We need game modes that might favor frames, the other frames, because we haven't got a new mission type that's significant in a long time. Conjunction survival is the survival where a special enemy spawns every 5 minutes, every rotation. Mirror defense is a timed mobile defense that is terrible, and it's terrible because of the rewards. The mission itself is not that bad. If you had something going on there, who knows? If you had a fishery, wouldn't be that bad. Who knows? It's really hard to tell. If who knows if there was a fisher that and the fisher buff would actually affect the amount of crystals you get, then it would be better. But still, we need more game modes. We need more mods. That's might be crazy. Like, why would we need more mods? I mean, we need more mods. We need a shift in the way we build stuff, because there is the meta, and the meta won't really deviate a lot, but if you just tweak things enough or add new, especially new corrupted mods, you might create more deviations on the meta. Who knows? You add a mod that adds a negative element, minus heat damage, minus cold damage. People might think, and then add a positive, and people might be like, why would you want that? Maybe if that will change the whole weighting of the stats on a weapon, it's gonna make it much better. That's already interesting to have, you know. So that is just one possibility. And yeah. Along with that, if I were even to talk about health gating or something like that, or maybe even a OSP one-shot protection for frames that don't have shields like in Arthuss, Nidus. Kullervo has now them. It's 0.5, 0.3 on activation and 0.5 on depleting, something like that. Even with that, at some levels you get one-shotted. You're gonna have to cast like a maniac. Press the button to have your skill active like a maniac. Especially you on Kullervo because you have to be close for your daggers to actually fly to the enemies. And so yeah. I think I've talked about a lot of different subjects. I'm sorry if this was a bit, not even a bit, or if it was a lot of confusion. I've wrote a couple points that I wanted to touch, or the sequence that I wanted to touch, but that was really for the beginning. For the rest, I just went on and tried to keep it as, I don't know, keep it in an order as best as possible, but I do have ADHD, and who knows what more. Well, really, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, and that's what I think. That's my fear for the future. That Warframe. I actually had a video like this planned for before the Fury, but I don't know how I actually lost that video. I even have the thumb made. I'm gonna, if I really remember to add it, I'm gonna leave it on the screen for during the video now, because if I remember to during editing to see this, I even had the thumb there because I was really afraid of the Fury. In my head, if the Fury failed, Warframe would be kind of condemned, kind of doomed to fail in about 5 years or something. But I mean, in the video, I remember it said that if the Fury failed, Warframe would probably decrease to half its player base in around 5 years. But the Fury was a success in my opinion, and it probably really was. Even though there's a lot of persons that really don't like it, or that they don't enjoy the grinds and stuff. Yeah. So I think that Warframe needs to really implement more stuff in order to keep everyone wanting to play the game on higher levels. Keep the players here, keep your veterans here, because you can't just keep creating content to make the new players happy, because at some point those new players are gonna become the veterans. They're gonna get to mid masteries. They're gonna eventually unlock everything in the game. And at some point, who knows? It's, for me as a layman about gaming and like making games and stuff, I feel like it's hard to keep everyone happy. But yeah, you gotta take care of your veterans at some point. Let me know what you think about everything that I've said in the comments below. Leave it a like if you haven't yet. Subscribe, and peace. And to finish the video, I'm gonna leave you guys with another example by Asmongold, where he was feeling kind of frustrated because of a situation, I think in Diablo 4. But if you can just apply stuff like that to Warframe, and it's easy to think like that about the game.
There have been a lot of problems. Like, for every game, this is kind of like this is the way that I look at games a lot of times. I look at it as like a category of positives and negatives, right? And whenever I feel like the negatives are too high, I just I give up, right? Because I don't want to play anymore, right? It's not fun anymore. And so it feels like artificial difficulty. Yeah, it does. Like, I don't feel like, basically, it was a situation where I was getting killed by something that I didn't think that I should be getting killed by. And then I knew that if I got better gear and I beat it, I would keep playing the game. But to what end? To what point? Like, why am I doing this? I'm not achieving any greater level of understanding of the game. I'm not getting better at the game. I'm not doing anything that I haven't done before, because I already leveled to 100 before. So I'm just redoing the exact same content that I was already doing again on a worse class. It's just not fun. You think your skill cap?